Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Senator Barrasso makes Chuck Schumer look like an absolute schmuck, not only for fear-mongering, but for saying complete nonsense in front of the rest of the Senate. Let's dive in.
As you've seen so many times, Donald Trump's big promises turned out to be just duds. Turns out to be more lies. He seems to lie every day. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even shrug his shoulders. He doesn't show a bit of remorse on his face as he spews out lie after lie after lie. Donald Trump's tariffs have been a national sales tax on the American people. Yale Budget Lab estimated this week that the totality of Donald Trump's tariffs will cost $2,400 this year. $2,400. That's a lot of money. The cost of health care is going to skyrocket. Thanks to the big ugly bill, as many as 15 million Americans are going to lose their coverage. If Republicans don't work with Democrats to restore these tax credits, premiums are set to go up by 75%, and 5 million Americans will lose coverage altogether. It's unprecedented corruption. Never in our lifetimes have we seen a president use the levers of power so transparently to personally enrich himself and his inner circle. That never happened in America. Presidents, Democrats, Republicans, independents, conservatives, liberals, they respected the fact that their office, being in high office, was a guardianship, not to grab and reach and make money and enrich themselves. But that's what Trump is doing regularly.
If you can work, you should work. That's fair to everyone else. It strengthens our safety net for those who truly need it. Now, Democrats are fear-mongering about Medicaid. I'm a doctor. Let me set the record straight. Under our law, single mothers keep their coverage. Children keep their coverage. Disabled Americans keep their coverage. On national security, Republicans are reversing 4 years of weakness and woke distractions. We're restoring America's peace through strength. Our new law includes $150 billion to rebuild our military. Our military will once again be lethal, ready, and respected. Of course, national security starts with border security, and that is why Republicans secured the border. President Trump ended Joe Biden's disastrous open border policy. Under Joe Biden, 10 million illegal immigrants flooded across our border. 10,000 illegal crossings every day was the standard for the Democrats in the Biden administration with their open border policy. Now, illegal border crossings are at a record low. We ended the Biden policy of catch and release. In the last 2 months, the number of illegal immigrants who were released into this country is zero. Zero. That's right. Think about what that means. Think about what it means for our communities, for families. Zero releases means zero communities overwhelmed by an influx of illegal immigrants. Zero schools overcrowded. Zero hospitals overrun. Zero new cases like Laken Riley's and Rachel Morin's. Under Joe Biden, Democrats plan to spend taxpayer dollars, listen to this, on $500,000 on electric buses in Africa, $880,000 on social media mentorship in Europe, $6 million for net zero cities in Mexico. The list goes on. Republicans passed a rescissions bill that saved taxpayers $9 billion. Here's the bottom line. These are common sense reforms. The Democrat Party today is the party of high taxes, high prices, and open borders. Democrats are more than just liberal. They are radical. They are extreme. They are dangerous. They are scary. And they are terribly out of touch. Madam President, a Wall Street Journal poll this weekend found Democrats' favorability at a 35-year low. The American people see what we see and what I've just talked about in terms of what the Democrats are trying to do to this country and continue to push. On critical issues like the economy, inflation, immigration, and national security, Americans trust Republicans more, and they're right to do so, because Republicans are lowering costs. We're securing our borders. We're rebuilding our military. We're getting America back on track. And we are just getting started. Madam President, the American comeback is real. The Republican majority is delivering, and America's best days are still ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed a spanking. An absolute spanking. And Barrasso did a fantastic job hitting point after point, while Chuck Schumer kind of had to just sit there in the background and take it. All Chuck Schumer did was whine, complain, and moan about the American success. And then to talk about potential numbers that probably won't ever come to pass, about how these tariffs are going to hit us hard. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for an absolute moment. And after all, Barrasso was right. The idea that the Democrats are looking out for the American interests, they're the party of high taxes, they're the party of illegal immigration, they are the party of bad government. That's what they have become. All because they refuse to look in the mirror and go, have we screwed up somewhere? Now, Chuck Schumer is not the kind of politician that Harry Reid was. All right, Harry Reid, I do believe, it was just a truly evil person. Just evil to deal with. Chuck Schumer is a workable person, but he is in the worst possible situation where he has to take stances opposite of Trump nearly every single time, and if he doesn't, his own party is going to sit him down and remind him, hey, we know what we can and can't say, and you just did a no-no thing. There's a reason that, I'm blanking on his name, but John Fetterman. There's a reason John Fetterman has been persona non grata in Democrat circles. He has had the guts to stick out his neck and say, hey, we can't be supporting some of the things that we do, all right? This dude understands that Pennsylvania is now a battleground state like no other. And he has to win elections there. And the Democrat Party doesn't like it when he speaks truth to power. Hey, y'all. Experts say they rig the markets, print the money, and manipulate the system. But here's the truth. They can't print gold. While the dollar weakens, physical gold and silver stay real, tangible, uncontrolled. When banks go digital and emergencies lock you out of your own funds, gold and silver won't need an internet connection or government permission. Their value is outside the system, a time-tested insurance policy against tyranny, inflation, and economic resets. So don't wait until the trap is sprung. Own what the elites hoard behind closed doors. Physical gold and silver off the grid, because when the system fails, real money talks. And to help you learn more about owning physical gold and silver, we have partnered with the great company Goldco, which supports this channel, which we deeply appreciate. So check out PolitibralGold.com for more info and see if you might even qualify for free silver. That's PolitibralGold.com. There was something that Chuck Schumer said that really bothered me. The whole idea that politicians, deep down, they just want what's good for the American people. They don't skim off the top. Buddy, the two most successful people in Congress, if you were to follow their stock exchanges, are Nancy Pelosi and Dan Crenshaw. When we talk about the Uniparty, that's what we're talking about. So no, we're not going to let you sit out there and squawk about people making money off the system when the reality is there's people in the other chamber that are doing it right now and are basically using their influence to get a ton of money. Technically, it's legal, but there's a problem. So no, Chuck, no one is buying your nonsense. And when it comes to American success stories, this is a story from The Guardian, which is, of course, across the pond over in the UK. Trump argues the extraordinary jump in tariffs will bring in trillions of dollars to the U.S. federal government. On his watch, tariffs so far have brought in tens of billions of dollars more in revenue this year than at the same point in 2024. They're basically admitting that they're working. Now, here's the reality about tariffs. They're great in the short term, they're potentially harmful in the long term. And right now, we need that short-term help. We really do. That one of the big problems with the big beautiful bill, as great as it is, it does add more to our debt. Fortunately, the idea is we add more debt now, we'll be able to pay it off later doing other policies, and that's what the tariffs, I believe, are ultimately about. But this story stuck out in my mind a little bit more because of the way it's titled. Let's see, let me scroll back up to the top here. As Trump's tariffs regime becomes clear, Americans may start to foot the bill. Really? May soon start to foot the bill? Congratulations, buddy. You get the award of being technically correct. Just because you're technically correct doesn't mean you're going to be right in your prediction long term. Yet again, I just explained what the tariff gambit ultimately is. But the reality is we're bringing in more money, which we desperately need, and we have not had free trade with the rest of Europe. Europe is hyper-nationalistic. They're all competing against each other. And so when you have the big old United States across the pond bringing in their products, it's tougher for those nations to compete. That's why they tariff us at such high rates. Well, folks, it's time to even out that balance. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for fair trade. It is time for Europe to realize they've been kind of, living off of us for way too long. We subsidize their entire defense. The whole reason we spend so much money in Ukraine, well, there's a couple of reasons for that, is because they're terrified. Europe is terrified of what Russia can do. And so they make all these policies to protect their own nations because they're all in competitions with each other, and it just makes for one big mess. And yet, they had to come to the table and give the United States an even higher tariff rate than what Trump initially set to begin with. This is what the success looks like. And this story is trying to fearmonger just in the same way that Chuck Schumer is fearmongering here. And Senator Barrasso is having none of it, and neither should you. These Democrats do not understand what's going on. They don't understand what success looks like. And we're back, baby. This is what building back better is supposed to look like, and this is why ultimately the MAGA movement is still running at full steam. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politbro. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.